YouTube. I've been thinking about an issue that comes up all the time, and I don't really know what to make of it 100%. And that is man made global warming. I completely agree that the globe is at all times in a state of flux, it's always in a state of constant change. I'm not denying that. Um, I agree that man has some part in it. To what extent, I don't know. But even like Bill Nye and even Neil deGrasse Tyson, two people that I used to very highly respect. I wouldn't even saw Neil deGrasse Tyson when he came. I drove a whole state away to go see him. Paid $100 a ticket just to see him, and even he, on the Joe Rogan Experience, said, "Well, there's a consensus. All the scientists agree, or whatever." Since when does an empiricist, a scientist, who should do everything on facts and evidence, every idea, every thought we have should be based on facts and evidence, should be making moral decisions that we can prove empirically? Since when does a consensus, isn't that like the fallacy of ad populum or something like that? You could correct me if I'm wrong, anyone, but I know there's a fallacy where, you're just allude to authority is one of them, and then another one, there's like a lot of people that think it, so it must be true. Like, that's bullshit. Since when is it a consensus equal facts and evidence? I thought scientists were supposed to be skeptical. We don't take things by faith. We believe in empirical evidence. And both Bill Nye and Neil deGrasse Tyson say those things. And not only them, but many on the left and the far left say those things as well. I don't consider myself far right or anything like that. I'm a libertarian. And so it's really weird. It's just very strange. Like, the left used to be able to make fun of the right, like they don't believe in science. They're a bunch of religious fanatics, and they don't believe in empirical evidence and all this and that. But now the right does it. So the left has their issues. Like there's 70 genders. It's ridiculous. And the right has their issues. Like for religious purposes, they will ignore empirical evidence, facts and evidence. And I have a problem with this. As a scientifically minded person, I believe in skepticism. Even even when it comes from the supposed scientific authorities. I mean, if they can't actually just lay out the evidence, and I've looked into this pretty extensively, I think, for an average Joe, and I mean, I must have heard over 50 actual climate scientists talk about this now, and almost every single one of them doesn't agree with the way that they word that consensus. They all say, like, yes, we agree that the Earth is in a state of flux, but we don't know to what extent mankind is playing, and we don't know how much, because the Earth can tilt, wobble, it can go a little bit farther away from the sun. It's in an elliptical orbit, and our Earth wobbles. Doesn't spin perfectly like a basketball spun on the ground. And so, there are natural fluctuations, and we don't know to what extent man is responsible for this. And I think it's evident at this point that many scientists are saying this because they don't want to lose funding or they want to gain funding. And let's be honest, whenever they talk about this global warming thing, they always push for these fields of science, these scientists, to get billions of dollars. Billions. So we're going to have like another weird NASA kind of case, where they just like are absorbing this money and we don't really get ever a straight answer on what's happening. And, that's bullshit. If we pay for something, I want to hear more than, well, they just all agree. Well, I just all agree that that's bullshit. I think if you can't spout out the fucking facts, then you're probably not right about what the fuck you're saying. Simply being skeptically minded is a good thing. That's what Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Nye have always said. And now look at them. I mean, why do I have to point this out? I'm no one. That's about all I have to say on this. That's my rant about this global warming issue. I think it's real. Global warming, obviously, we're in a state of flux. To what extent that's going to harm the earth, I don't know, because we've gone through warm and cold periods, through ice ages, and then it gets warmer. And when it gets warmer, it helps the plants. I mean, rainforests and shit, trees and all that love the heat. They're growing fine. The sea level might rise, but I mean, I watched this channel where they show old ruins from thousands of years ago that are buried off the shores all over the world. This is nothing new. Now they're 100 feet underwater. Entire civilizations, cities big as New York, bigger, underwater now. This isn't even the first time this has happened. So for them to be like, you know, it's XYZ and that's the only explanation, I'm not so sure. And I think I should be skeptical, and I think they should have to prove it. And that's about all I have to say. Till next time, I'm Socrates. If you like my content, please share and subscribe. Peace.